So anyone who's familiar with the current metagame would know how painful the Arrival Cerberus Towers monsters is to deal with. Not only is he unaffected by card effects, but on top of that, he can reach upwards to 6,000 attack, which is ridiculous. That means that even Access Code Talker, which is pretty much the most generic high attack monster that people can summon, cannot even jump over it if it's made with 6 different materials, unless you're using a link for a monster for access code, which is extremely unrealistic. And since tier elements have a really tough time summoning monsters with 4k attack monsters, actually as a matter of fact you can say that the highest attack monster would be maybe Guardian Chimera boosted with the field spell, even the 4k towers for the Ad Ignister deck is invincible for tier elements. I guess Starving Venom Fusion Dragon could gain attack and then jump over, but the issue is that you can't really make it using your tier elements effects because in order to make Starving Venom, you need 2 dark monsters on the field, and the tier elements effects to fuse always involve at least 1 card in the graveyard. So because of that, you have to start relying on cards like Polymerization, Fusion Substitute, Super Poly, or extra deck cards like, again, the Link 4 material access code with like Appaloosa for something as a material, or maybe something more relevant and a little more reliable like Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. And in theory, this is a Link monster that can out any unaffected by card effect monster and just about any monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! And every single deck has access to it, but it's a little hard to summon because you need to set up like 3 monsters, including at least like 1 Link 2 or 4 Link 1 monsters, or 4 monsters that are the equivalent of Link 1s on your field, and then use 1 monster from your opponent's field, which is a lot to ask because while you're in the process of getting those monsters onto the field, you might actually lose out to the Mathmech Super Factorial that will make you lose a lot of cards, as well as get an Omni Negate. And sometimes your opponent also has hand traps, so you can waste a lot of resources just to try to get 1 big monster that will run over the Arrival Cerberus, all that just to lose to like a Veiler, for example. Now, even though tier elements completely get destroyed by this card, I want to say Splight actually has a much easier time with it, even though it's actually still kind of hard. If you summon Gigantic Splight using Splight Elf as a material, you will have 3200 attack, meaning that if you can double it with Cat Shark, you're gonna end up with a 6400 attack monster, which basically runs over any big threat in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Exorcister could theoretically out it with, I guess, a 5k Utopia the Lightning if your opponent doesn't make it with 6 materials, or you could be going into Utopia Double in order to summon a 10k attack monster, but that's again very unrealistic because nobody really plays that, and you would have to play the brick of Double or Nothing. But yeah, even in the mirror match, the big boss monster is extremely terrifying because the only really logical out against it would be to crash your own towers, which is very whack because you're gonna have to commit 6 monsters, and then you still have to do other things in order to stop your opponent from recovering and killing you next turn. So yeah, that combined with the fact that the deck that actually summons this boss monster is not a joke at all, definitely makes for a very serious top tier contender. That's about it for this video. Let me know your thoughts about this monster in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.